And welcome to an episode of Ed Talks, where I'm having conversations with industry leaders across hospitality on 2023 as part of our No to Last Orders campaign to help fight against any hospitality closures in 2023. And this time I'm joined by Zoe from Wireless Social, the Chief Customer Officer. Welcome, Zoe.
Thank you, Ed. Pleasure to be here.
So, Zoe, why don't you just start by telling us a little about yourself, a little about Wireless Social, and really how do you think that Wireless Social can really help the industry this year?
Absolutely. So for anyone that doesn't know already, Wireless Social is a leading guest Wi-Fi data insights and marketing solutions provider to the hospitality industry. We look after 600 plus clients across the full range of sectors, from your small independent cafes and pubs right up to some of the most well-known high street casual dining brands and pub groups. I guess the foundation to our offering is absolutely data capture. It is about who is in your venue and how can you get them to return. You may have reservations, you can get the details of that party booker, or you may have walk-in events. How are you going to capture the data for as many people in your venue as possible? Wi-Fi is a key element here. We capture approximately 50% of the data of in-venue members at any one time for most of our clients. So it's a really significant factor in growing your database. I guess the main focus for this year and where we see really supporting the industry is in insights. So we have a wealth of data that can provide a really clear picture of industry performance and trends. So things like our vibrancy reports that we work with CGA, our quarterly loyalty reports that are soon to be launched, but also the insights platform that we provide to all of our clients. And then the latest addition, which we're really excited about, which is the launch of our benchmarking tool. So the ability to now compare your performance against that of your peers and track where your ranking sits and goes up and down based on your marketing campaigns.
That's amazing. I mean, that benchmarking report, I know, obviously I've seen a couple of glimpses, but it looks a really exciting piece of work. I mean, why don't you just tell me a little bit more about that, just for those that aren't really sure what that might look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we've been asked, we're constantly asked when we're having conversations with clients and talking about their stats, they're saying, well, okay, is that good? What does that look like compared to my competitors? And I think benchmark is a real buzzword at the moment. So we wanted to develop something to utilize the wealth of data that we have across the industry to help people place themselves and understand what good does look like. So we've developed a tool where you can take your key metrics, so things like opt-in rates, login rates. We can look at return rate, average visits per user, that kind of thing, to understand visit frequency and loyalty. And then you can plot yourself not only against the industry as a whole, but also by sectors. So it could be, right down to sort of competitive socializing or community pubs, casual dining, whatever sector you sit in, because obviously there's so many ranges. You've got to put some context to that data. So yeah, we're really excited about it. It's an incredibly intuitive tool to use. The visuals are really engaging, and it just gives you that snapshot insight. And then obviously the ability, because it's pulled in real time, the ability to keep tracking. So when you put in change the login journey of your Wi-Fi, or create new signage, or whatever it is that you've got going on in and around your venues, you can then see the impact of that on your stats. So how does it move the dial? How does it increase the login rates? How does it increase the visit frequency? And I know all marketers are being constantly challenged on what value they're adding, and this is a really key tool to help deliver that.
Yeah, it's a great metric to really understand the activity that you're doing and whether it's, and how it's benefiting your business at the end of the day. And I know from, Bums on Seats' point of view, really we get asked quite a lot around benchmarking ourselves. So I think, and I know probably a lot of suppliers and a lot of partners get the same thing. So I think it's an incredible tool to be able to use moving forward. And I think with that in mind, talking about how Bums on Seats also, use a lot of benchmarking reports, how do you see Bums on Seats and Wireless Social working together really to tackle the industry and the issues that the industry is facing in 2023 to really help prevent any of these any hospitality closures?
Absolutely. So I think it's that mix of insights, solutions, and then results. So we can provide the insights. We can tell you who your guests are and when they're in your venues. we'd then lean on the, you know, the expertise. You guys come in and you can advise on how can you get the most from the people within that visit. So how can you get the team to be driving spend per head? How can you get them to, you know, improve NPS scores, all that kind of piece. And then use your wireless social data again. So like sort of returning to that loop about how to identify the weaknesses and the strengths in your footfalls, bringing you guys to then look at, okay, well, if Wednesdays, Thursdays are a weak point, or that breakfast slot needs filling, all that kind of thing, is what strategic guidance can you guys provide on how to improve that and fill those business gaps. And I guess then using the wireless social data to then measure the impact of those campaigns. So where you guys have provided some strategy and the clients implemented that, then how does that impact login rates? How does that impact dwell time? All those key stats to then deliver the results.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think, you know, the data that wireless social provide is such a key bit of the puzzle that really understands a lot more about who's in your venue. We've had discussions before, and I have with other clients around, if you and I were in going to the same pub, bar, whatever it is, every Friday at 5 o'clock, you know, I'm booking it every single week, but you're coming with me every single week. It's about understanding, actually, yes, they'll have the data on me, but it's actually about you and your data as well, and your profile, and wireless social can really help capture a really key element of that, which is really important. And then how do you then, as you've said, you know, how do you then use that strategically and target those customers is really important.
And I think it's about the data enrichment piece as well. So obviously a large part of that is covered with the CRM strategy often, but there's tools you can use as part of the login journey with us that you can help enrich. So our micro survey tool, for example, is understanding reason for visit. It's understanding dietary preferences. It's understanding what are they interested in from an events perspective. What's their favorite drink? Whatever it is that you want to know. Utilize that journey. You've got them kind of captured in that moment. We know that people don't go back and do things very easily, so actually in that moment, what information can you get from them that will then capture for you, feed into your CRM? We've got clients using that tool for a whole host of things. They use it for competition entries, incentives, all sorts.
Which is really incredible. Now, what would you say would be your top 3 tips really for the industry to not really just survive, but actually thrive in the current climate?
Absolutely. So as we've been discussing, it's you know, a key one is maximizing your data capture. We know who's visiting and spending with you, and they are your fans. So how can you make sure that you've got the ability to reach out to them once the visit is over and encourage them to return? I think secondly is about bringing the front of house teams really on board with your marketing strategy. Give them the why. Everyone is far more involved when they understand the why and understand why they're being asked to do something. So if you're doing a massive drive on asking people to connect to the Wi-Fi to sign up to the marketing, is what's in it for the customer, so that the team understand that, so that they've got a story to tell. But also, what is the value of that sign up, so that the team members understand why it's really important that we are capturing that data. Set incentives, all that kind of thing. I know from my days in ops, it was, we love nothing more than to compete with our sister clubs and that kind of thing. So we can provide league tables, we can provide all that information to help you track how things are going. My third tip is absolutely about leaning on your partners. It is we are an extension effectively of your marketing and sales team. Do not see us, or really hope that we're not seen as kind of another thing on the to-do list for a marketeer. It's like, oh, I've got this tool and there's so many things I'd love to do, but I just can't get to it. And that's a really frustrating, having been a marketeer for brands, that is a really frustrating feeling. Use us. We are the experts in the product. That's what we're meant to be. We've got a vested interest in you using it successfully and generating revenue as a result of it. So use that expertise, give us your challenges, we'll come back to you with the strategic proposals, and in many cases we can actually action them for you as well, with a little bit of information that we might need from the customer. So really use us.
Yeah, of course. I know, I totally agree. And I mean, just to sort of summarize there for those top tips is really, as we've discussed a lot around, is, maximizing that customer data, knowing who's in your venue and what you can do with that information, is keeping front of house on site and really engaged in terms of, why is it important for them to ensure that people are logging into Wi-Fi? Why is that really necessary? Why is it necessary? And I think there's an element there of probably an element of training, really understanding that, investing in your people on top of that as well is really key. And as we say, you know, lean on your suppliers. We're here to help at the end of the day. So I think from our point of view, between Wireless Social and Bums on Seats, you know, we want to help our clients, don't we? We want to really be able to see them thrive, and together we can help do that, which I think is vital. But yeah, thank you so much for your time on that. I think it's really insightful and really great to hear. I think we're going to also put all these top tips into a written guide for all the partners that we're doing the series with, which will be released towards the end of February. If anyone has any further questions or wants to understand a little bit more about Bums on Seats and Wireless Social working together, or Wireless Social as its own entity, obviously do feel free to reach out to Zoe or myself, and we'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction. But once again, thanks so much, Zoe, for your time.
Pleasure. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks.